Hello, everyone, and welcome into your reading, the 2026 Destiny Path reading, where we are looking into the energy that's coming in the coming year. We are closing up this year. This year was a doozy for a lot of us. And so we're wanting to see kind of what's going to come for next year. And these look ahead readings are like near and dear to my heart because like I will use this all year long to kind of go back and see, okay, are we on path? Is this going like and so last year was just so spot on. And especially when I get to the quarterly part that we're going to do in this, you're going to see it was just like the energy from last year that I pulled out just came just right to fruition. And I just kind of want to talk through some of that. Um, I feel like I just jumped right in and I didn't even say who I am or anything. Hold up. I haven't done this in a little bit. So, welcome in to the Awakened Flame Network. I am the Awakened Jen. I am a multidimensional channeler and the Oracle of the Council of the Awakened Flame. And I use the Akashic Records, channeling the Council, tarot, oracle, and direct channeling, astrology, numerology, all the things to help bring this full picture to us. And so, thank you so much for joining us today. And for those that have been followers for a while, you probably noticed that I've taken some time back. Well, and you might even notice that the space looks really different. So, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. So, all year in 2025, really I talked about changes, transitions, and embodiment. Embodiment was a big one. But as we got towards the end of the year, I started talking about integration. And so I really needed to take my own advice because I went through so many shifts as well as many of you have. Through 2025, there were a lot of identity collapses that went through that. There were a lot of, relational losses in all the realms. And I said it a lot that the feminines particularly were being kind of pulled off to themselves, and like everything was kind of being stripped from them so that they could really just kind of get fully integrated into who they really are, this new timeline that they have been working on to bring in. Well, I mean, I was just pushing through all of these massive shifts, like I'm sure many of you were as well. And then I got all the way to October, and I mean, October, it was just like all the lessons came full circle with that 1010 portal. And by the end of October, I just knew like, you've got to slow down. You need to stop pushing right now. And you need to let all of the energy that just moved through you this year really have a chance to settle and integrate. And so, I mean, like integration means like we really need to just not push for anything more and let what's already happened kind of take its space. And so that's what I did for all of November. I was just like, okay, no, we are going to just pull back and we're going to just let the stuff that's kind of come through like really have a chance to settle. And so I made the decision then I was going to hold off on any videos for the channel until the end of the year so that I could give myself some time to integrate. And I hope that you've been giving yourself time to integrate as well, because it's been life changing for me. And so in that same time, I had a lot of other shifts happening in my home. And so I had my oldest son moved out, and which opened up space for me to have in my own office. And so up until just last month, I was doing everything out of my bedroom. I had just a little corner that was like my space to work. And now then I have a whole room that is my space to work. And so like everything is just like expanding and you can feel it. It feels great. And it's like it's becoming this vision that I've had for my life for, I mean, several years, but I just didn't know how to get there. And the getting there came when I finally decided to stop pushing and just let it happen. And I got back into joy and I got back into creativity and I got back into the fun of life again. And I created beautiful spaces all over my home again and just refreshed the energy, and it refreshed me. And it's like, it's finally like the outer world is finally reflecting the inner transformations that were happening, all of the push that was happening in me last year was to get me to this new level, this new expansive space, so that my whole work and everything can, level up with everything that I've been working to achieve. And so I hope that you're feeling this same energy. And so I want to go back to that, the reading from last year, the 2025 preview. So particularly the four cards that stuck with me were the quarterly cards that I pulled. The first one, I don't remember the exact cards. I remember the energy. So the first one, it was like the old foundation was falling away and the new one was coming in. And so like there was a crumbling. There was like, and I knew it was going to be hard for the first from January to March, it was going to be pretty intense because the old was falling apart so that the new foundation could be laid. By April to June, we were, and I know this was the Queen of Wands energy because Stella got her groove back. And so now she's feeling empowered. Now she's feeling herself. She's finding herself. She's going out and creating in this world again. And then by July to October, no, July to September, it was the Nine of Cups. And so there were blessings pouring out, just like abundance pouring out. By the time we got to Lionsgate Portal, I mean, it was just like the abundance was coming through. And then we got to the end of the year, the last quarter, it was the World. And I remember it was like, it's not bad. It's just completely new. You've not lived this version of your life before, so you don't even know what to think about it. You're just kind of in awe of just like, did that really happen? Because you are not in the same place that you were before. So if that was your pattern, you fell into the same, collective energy that I was pulling, and it was an intense year. And so we want to see like all the work we did, what was that preparing us for the year that's coming? And so I've got a spread that we're going to use, and we're going to just pull some energy, have some fun with it, and let's just see what's coming for us for 2026. I want to say, if you will stay to the end, I do have an announcement for a program, a mentorship program that I'm going to be starting in January, and there will be more information about that in the description box below. But it is an Destiny Path Alignment Mentorship. And so I'm basically teaching you how to do what I have been doing for these past 5 years. And so, like, it just the awakening, the identity shifts, and just because that's the key to really reaching the full destiny path is like you got to work on the identity that's been building your life to this point so that once you get the correct identity in place, now everything will start lining up to the correct identity and it will start making sense and your world will start reflecting the truth of you again. So, before we get into the reading, I want us to take 3 deep breaths together and do the invocation to call the spirit team, and then we will get started. So, if you will get settled and close your eyes and breathe in. That's 1. Breathe in. That's 2. Breathe in. That's 3. I now call in the Council of the Awakened Flame, a collective of angels, archangels, ascended masters, our higher selves, guardian angels, ancestors, and galactic light family to please enter this present space and time. I call upon Archangel Michael to place a bubble of protection around us. Only beings of the highest vibration of pure love and light may enter in. I open myself now as a clear, surrendered channel. Only messages for the highest good that bring healing, alignment, ascension, and love. So be it. All right, so let's get moving. We are going to start with the Council of the Awakened Flame, my deck, to pull some overall energy for 2026. So, what is the governing energetic principle of the collective destiny path of 2026. What is the governing energy of the collective destiny path of 2026? All right. Okay. Move this a little bit to my way. All right. So the governing energy. Really? The governing energy for the collective destiny path of 2026 is divine masculine, sacred protector, silent knower, 707, solar plexus, gold, sacred contracts. And so this tells me, I mean, we were in a state last year of just like, it was the release, it was the collapse, it was the realignment, recalibration, and integration. So there wasn't a lot of action that needed to be done of like pulling the new forward, because we still had to get all of the old out of the way. The old is out of the way. So now then the masculine is now ready to start anchoring in the new into the reality, to bring in the container, to bring in the protection, to bring in the security. That part of you, the masculine part of you, is now being ready to be activated. And it also tells me for the masculine collective, this is going to be very important for a very important year for them as well. So I feel like 2025 was like the completion level for the work that the feminines had been working on, the mastery level for the feminines of this overarching collective that I work with. And now, and I did know that towards the second half of the year, the masculines were going through their own dark night of the soul. They were going through their own collapse and they were fighting it tooth and nail. And so now then it's like they see the transformation that's happened in the feminine and they can't deny it anymore. And so now then it's their turn. It's their turn to do the work. It's their turn to kind of step into action. And so it's like you're feeling that in yourself internally because you have both the masculine and feminine energies within you. And so your own internal masculine is like, okay, now it's time to rise. It's now time for me to stand in. It's now time for me to have like my moment. But the masculine collective is also having that. So their identity shift will be anchoring in 2026. And it's like the feminine already created the full vision. She's let the full vision be seen of what is possible. And so now then the masculine is no longer moving through his fears anymore. It's not even moving through the ego anymore. This is, I know what I need to do. I know what action I need to take. And I'm finally ready to take that action. Okay. So we're going to look at the different themes that we deal with: love, career, spiritual path, and just life in general. And I'm going to break it down I will pull one oracle card. Let's set this over here. I will pull one oracle card and then one tarot for each of the areas of life. So we can get a sense of kind of what to expect as the energy through the next year. So I'm going to do love first. So what is the core love and relationship theme for 2026? And I'm using Heart's Hidden Secrets to pull this energy. So the key, the core love and relationship theme for 2026. Okay. Let's see. We have family, fertility, parenthood, pregnancy. And so love is going to feel more like coming home, more like settling, more like long-term commitments. So like, where is your family? What is family? And I think that that's going to be like the big focus is it's got to feel intimate. It's got to feel comfortable. It's got to feel like home. Um, we'll pull energy with the tarot as well to see kind of how it fully integrates into the 3D reality. And I'm using Tarot of the Divine for this. So how does this family integrate into the 3D reality? And family is not the ones that are the blood chosen. So that is part of your family. This is the family that you choose by the soul connection. This is your soul family. All right. So how does this play out in the 3D? We have the 10 of Wands. And so this is, we're not carrying the old baggage with us anymore. So if you want to bring harmony into your reality, you've got to let go of the old stories. You've got to let go of the old patterns. You've got to let go of the old trauma responses. You created all of those things for a life that you are no longer living. They cannot come with you into the new, or else it will spoil the environment that you're trying to create. So we want to think about this family in sort of a different way. Family of origin. Okay. A lot of us, our family of origin was pretty chaotic, pretty dramatic, and, toxic in its own way. And it was familiar. And so up until this point, we were choosing our relationships based off of familiarity. It felt like home, it felt like family because that's what we were used to. Now then, we are redefining what home actually is. We're not just being in a space because that's where we've grown up. That's what we've always been. That's what we've always done. Now then, we see, no, this is the actual family that I want to be in. This is the one that's best for my nervous system. This is the one that, like, I know I can find the fullness of me and the peace and joy that I need in is through, like, not the familiar, but the aligned. And so it's a different way of kind of feeling this. And so what is aligned now is not aligned with the old. And so we've got to let go of the old. You shifted your frequency, you raised your vibration. You are no longer the same person. And so you are no longer the same alignment to the old energy. So it's not even, and I'm going to say this, once you get so far into the healing, you're not even attracted to the old versions anyways. Like it comes to this level of like it almost disgusts you that you allowed that to begin with, because you see how distorted, you see how toxic, you see how unhealthy that situation was for you. And now then, like I worked too hard. I worked way too hard to get to this place. I cannot go back. I can't get back into those same dynamics just because they felt familiar, just because I was comfortable being in it, just because I could do it, just because I knew how to do it, doesn't mean that I need to be there or even want to be there anymore. Okay. So the next section that we're going to look at is the career. And we're going to use the money manifestation oracle to pull the overall theme, and then we'll use the tarot to see how it plays out in the 3D reality. So with the money manifestation oracle, what is the core career or money frequency leading 2026? What is the core career and money frequency leading 2026 for the collective? Okay. We have experiment. When you find yourself feeling indecisive about which direction to go, don't be afraid to experiment with multiple options to figure out what works for you. And so, trial and error. You don't have to have all the answers just yet. You just need to put yourself out there. So, a lot of times we will procrastinate because we think we have to have the exact right thing, the exact right offer, the exact right product, the exact right words in order for it to work out. But this is telling you, no, play around, have fun with it again. Experiment, see what you like. You may not even know what you like. You may not even know what's available to you. So start just playing around, see what feels good to you. And when you experiment, you can see what feels good to others. And it's just like you're not being so solid, stiff, rigid. You're allowing the energy to flow and to open up. And I mean, it's like that openness is what opens up the possibilities for you. And it's like this one thought can lead to this thought that leads to this thought that can lead to the thing, can lead to the actual thing. So you may not have the actual thing just yet. You need to open yourself up so that the actual thing can now finally be reached because you've been working in this place because it's like, okay, this is what I know how to do. This is what I need to do. But we're saying, like, nope, we've got to go bigger, 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 bigger. So just keep following it out. Just keep seeing what else might come. And so, with the tarot energy, how does this play out in the real world? And we have the King of Swords. And so, to me, that's the shift, though, is like you've been so logical and strategic. And now then we're pulling in some of the other emotions too. So it's like devoid of, the heart, the soul, and it's just like, no, this is what makes sense. This is how I make money. This is, like the pattern of making money. But this is like what's been holding you back, the rigidity of it. No, this is what I have to do. And one of my decks, the King of Swords, is King Solomon. And the story that it's portraying is where he splits the baby into, they don't really split the baby, but where the two mothers come in claiming that this one child they're both saying it's theirs. And he says, well, then just split the baby. And when he says split the baby, the real mother says, no, 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 let her have the baby. Nope, nope, nope. We're going to keep the baby safe. We're going to let her have the baby. And that's how he knew, which one was, the actual mother, because, the actual mother's not going to let the child suffer just so that she can attain it. But it's like the logic of that is just like, okay, then like, don't split the baby. Don't split the baby. Let's bring in the other emotions. Let's see what else is out there. Let's see what feels good. Let's see what, like just you've got to have your heart. You've got to have your passion. And you've got to have your daily practice, like your implementation, all of this in. When we're in just the King of Swords energy, yeah, we can think out the plans, we can be strategic, but it's not got any of those other pieces in it that are actually needed for the fullness, for the wholeness of the success that you're trying to reach for. And so, not so focused, we're opening it up, we're seeing what's possible, and we're allowing some of those other energies to sort of have a say in this too, not just straight logic. It does not just have to come from here. It can come from here. It can come from your solar plexus. It can come from your hands, making and grinding. It like you can do more than just think it through. Like you need the thoughts, you need the plan, but you need all of the other pieces too. Okay. So the next section that we're looking at is our spiritual path. So we're going to be using the Work Your Light Oracle for the spiritual path. And what spiritual upgrade or activation defines our 2026 energy? What spiritual upgrade or activation defines our 2026 energy? Spiritual path. We have Anna, grandmother of Jesus, seeding the light, laying foundations, the divine plan. And I think I'm going to read this one too. us for this, the grandmother of Jesus. So let's see. Anna, grandmother of Jesus, where are you? That is page 88, which I love that. It's aligned with abundance. Anna, grandmother of Jesus, was an ancient mystic who dedicated her life to laying the foundations for Christ consciousness to be woven through all of life. She is not widely known, but without her, Christ consciousness would not be rising as it is today. Anna represents the quiet dedication that is sometimes required to live a life of service. She represents the generations that came before that devoted their lives to dreaming a new world into being while knowing that they would not see the glorious end result. She represents the dutiful soldier, the unconditional mother, and the mystic who can see the thread that is woven through all of life. Anna teaches us that we all have a part to play in the divine plan. It doesn't have to be on the world stage to be significant. One person's part is not worthier than another. Another person's part may be to mother their children. Another's may be to gather women in circle each month. No part is better or worse, more important or less significant. We each have within us a seed of light that we incarnated to share. Anna is gathering us all to remember and surrender to our part of the plan. So, what part of the plan are you stepping into this year? What do you feel like your part of the plan is? And I love that it listed out that it doesn't have to be something grand and spectacular. Your part could literally just be in the space that you have right there, the people that you are raising, because that was hers. It was like not even directly like she had Mary, and then Mary had Jesus. And it's like, so it's not even the direct path, but she was part of the path. And so you have your part of the path that you're supposed to be playing too. So do you know what that part is? And are you doing that part? And are you honoring that? And I need to also say there's different seasons that we will all be going through. And so, I definitely had a season where my role was just strictly motherhood, where that was my purpose and that was my highest calling in that time. And so, like, don't beat yourself up if that's the role that you're in and you feel like that you're being called for more, but you're not at a space where that's really realistic for you to do. Embrace what you're being called to right here, right now, because it's part of the plan. And later seasons of your life, you may be called to more, but see, you won't know that until you get to those seasons. Right now, what are you being called to do right here, right now? And so with the tarot energy, how does this express itself in our daily lives? We have the Ace of Cups. And so that is about heart connections, being heart centered, letting everything pour out from the overflow of your heart. So you have become so full within yourself that now then it's just like it just pours out. What is it in your heart that's feeling like it needs to be coming out, needs to be poured out? Because that's the place, that's the purpose. Like wherever you have the excess, that is where your purpose is like the most rooted. That's where you have the most ability to do something. That's where you have the most freedom. And that's again, right here, right now purpose, not maybe, lifetime purpose, but we're not looking at the lifetime. We're looking at next year. And next year, it's got to be from the overflow. It can't be something that drains you. So this is something that's already within you. You don't have to go and reach for it and learn something completely new. No, now you have to use what you actually have and step into your full part of what's being asked of you at this time. Okay. So the next part is general life, and we're going to use the wisdom of the oracle to pull this energy. So what is the overarching general theme shaping the collective for 2026? Just in general, how will our daily life go? Okay. We have message in a bottle. Words that have not been spoken are finally going to come out. Words that have been bottled up. So this feels like a throat chakra, just like release, a throat chakra awakening, a throat chakra opening. It's just like words are going to come out. The messages are going to come out. Messages are going to come through. And it's just like that word is just really powerful coming through. But it's like the bottled up. That's what I'm feeling. It's like they have been dying to come out for a while. So this could be messages that you need to speak or messages that are trying to get to you. Either way, it's like they have been just waiting for the right moment. That it's like the energy is now right. It's now's the time. It's like I can't hold this in anymore. And so we're going to pull with the tarot as well to see how does this play out in the 3D. How does this theme show up in home, health, family, and everyday reality? We have the Four of Cups. And so this is okay. We're not just going to sit in resentment. We're going to speak when we are dissatisfied about things. If, like, okay, because this card is talking about like you're seeing what's not working in front of you while you're not seeing the actual gift that's behind you, or you're downplaying the actual gift that's behind you. But this says that like we're not just going to let it sit anymore. The gift that you're giving, the gift of that cup, is the gift of your truths. And so when things are not working, we're going to communicate that. We're going to communicate it in a way that is loving and kind, but also it's direct and says, I can't continue in this path in this way because this doesn't work for me. This isn't fulfilling for me. And so I know I need more, and here's the more that I need. And it's like, and when you speak that, if it's not received, this is not the space where it's meant to be filled. That's okay. But stop trying to force spaces that can't feel it to feel that need for you. So you may need realignment in that. But it's like, we're not holding back. We're not holding back. We're going to say the things that are the truth of our heart. We're going to say it in a way that it is compassionate, loving, kind. And if it's still not received, that's your answer. That's the information you need to be able to make the decisions that you need to make that are going to make sure that you are in full alignment with the things that actually fill your needs. And so if this space can't do it, okay, then that's not your purpose in my life. So I need to readjust, I need to shift, and I need to find, how do I feel this then? If it's not going to be here, then how will I do it? And so it's a little bit of creativity of like, okay, um, this isn't working, but like it's still the need. So now what can I do? But it's also letting people be where they're at too. And so it's not saying that just because like somebody says, no, I don't want to do that for you, that you continue to have a relationship that you have. For my changes that. But um get met because you're speaking it. So again, the shift here, we're communicating the need. We're not forcing certain people, places, things to be the thing that fills the need. So if this doesn't work, we ask it here first, and that doesn't work, then we need to make a shift and realign from there. Okay. So we are going to move into the quarterly energy. And so for the quarterly energy, I'm going to pull one card from the Sacred Symbols Oracle and then one card from the Tarot for each of the quarters to kind of give us, here's the overall theme of the energy and here's how it plays out. And so the Sacred Symbols, we're looking for the first quarter is January to March. So what is the energetic theme of quarter one? Energetic theme of quarter one. We have divine feminine. So the overall theme for the year was the divine masculine, but we're coming in, the year starts off with the feminine. The feminine is the one that's kicking it off in the first part. And so it's not a huge push. The feminine isn't push. She is creative. She is like the vision. She is flow. She is like, okay, here's what I'm trying to create. And she's getting in that energy. That energy is part of the shift. Um, for the tarot, how this unfolds in real life, we have the Two of Coins. So the Two of Coins means she was juggling both of the roles. The Two of Coins means that she was trying to carry both sides of the connection, both, like she was trying to be all of the things. She was trying to be the feminine in her full embodiment, but also the masculine in that sense as well. And so now then it's like, no, she's choosing her role, and her role is the feminine. And the feminine isn't like, it's not that she's not responsible, but she's staying more in that creative flow. She's not forcing anything. And so I think we can even come back to this energy right here and say, this is where the feminine, like, I'm going to speak my truth. You can do with it what you need to do with it. It's my truth, but I'm not going to force it on you. You don't have to be the one that fills these needs. I can find other ways to fill these needs, other people to fill these needs if that's what's needed. But it's like you're setting the stage. Here's what I want to see. Here's what I'm trying to create. Here's what I'm inviting you into. Are you with me? And when they say no, okay, shift. It's not going to happen here, so can it happen here? So it's an allowance of just letting things kind of be just where they're at, but you are so solid in what you know you want that like that doesn't sway you out of the path. It's just, okay, that's an obstacle that to work around. It's not the same as again trying to force this has to be the way. No, this is a we're going to work our way around it, and we're not going to carry both sides. We're going to just do our we're just going to do our, what is the word that's trying to hit, our part, and we're going to find joy in it. We're going to just like, but we're not forcing it. Okay. The April to June, from April to June, Q2, what is the energy theme for that? We have shift. So, and I think that that does make sense because, and this is the same energy I've been reading for months, since at least October, I've been feeling this. So we know that we have Neptune in Saturn, I mean, no, Neptune in Pisces and Saturn in Pisces that are about to make really, really big shifts at the early part in Q1. And so by the time we get finished with March, those shifts are over. Those transits have already happened. So the shift is ready. And I've been calling it for a while. Like springtime is when the energy lightens again, because we've got to get through, especially the Saturn in Pisces, and that goes all the way through February. And so once it comes through, then there will be a few more weeks of just kind of like letting the energy settle and integrate. And then once we get into the springtime again, the shift is in full motion. So the tarot energy that explains how it shows in the 3D, how this is going to play out in the 3D, is the Queen of Wands. And so, again, Stella gets a root back. This is, I now feel radiant. I now feel expansive. I now feel like the master of my own life. I'm no longer afraid to tell people no. I'm no longer afraid to be seen. I'm no longer afraid to shine. I'm no longer to claim what is fully mine and to say no to what I know isn't. And so it's just, this is embodiment. This is the feminine embodiment. This is just no apologies of like, I am living my life in the fullness that I know how to live it. And that's the shift. You have been living for other people's dreams, other people's desires, and now then you get to live your life for yourself. All right. Q3, July to September. So what is the overall energy for Q3? We have nature spirits. Nature spirits. And this is almost like the fairy energy. And so I feel like that there's going to be a lot of time spent outside for the summer months. There's going to be just a lot of energy spent outside and just taking in the natural beauty that is around you. And then that's going to like translate into, appreciating the beauty in other spots and wanting to bring that beauty kind of into your space. And so this feels like fairy energy to me. And like that's one of the things that I've really been trying to do with my home upgrades. It's like I want to bring that sense of, the fairy magic all throughout my house. And so like we're putting in fairy lights and greenery and just little things, little hints of magic that bring that shift from the, nature outside into the inside. And it's just like it's kind of this appreciation moment of just the wonder that's all around you. And the tarot energy that goes with this is how it plays out in the 3D, the Three of Cups. So this is celebration, this is joy, this is being surrounded by your people, the right people. This is soul family, which I think we talked about earlier with that family card in the love position. But this is, you're in the right place. You may have shifted completely out of, the old spaces altogether, and this may be all new energy around you, but you know that it's meant for you. And so it brings joy and wonder back into your life. Okay. Q4. With the sacred symbols, what is the overall energy for Q4? We have psychic. So gifts will be fully online and expanding. So just expect that because this is like your nervous system is resettling and your inner child is finally able to fully trust you again because you have taken control back of your life. When we got to that Queen of Wands energy, that's where you took control back. And you're already in 2025, that was part of what you were working on, is to build that part of yourself, that resilience in yourself, the integrity, the authenticity. And so now then that you're in your true alignment, expect your gifts to just kind of unfold, just to blow just right through the top. Because you've settled your nervous system, you've gotten your external world, your relationships are all in alignment. And once you get into alignment, then it's like, then the energy has a place to kind of open. The tarot energy that represents how this plays out in the 3D is the Eight of Cups. And so you're going to see the path so clearly. You're going to know what is in alignment with you and what is not in alignment with you, what moves you forward and what holds you back. And you're no longer letting anything hold you back. And what I love about this is it's like we're not saying that the old can't still come. We're just not waiting on the old to come with us. We're not forcing the old to come with us. We're not forcing anything. We're going. We're going despite. We work too hard. We earned this path. We are like right at the front, and we're like the ones that are like cutting the branches and bringing like just, clearing the space for anyone that's going to come behind us, and they will come. But we are not pulling them. We're not forcing them. We're not begging them. We're not like, there's no need for that. They're witnessing it through you. They're seeing it through you, and you know the way forward because you've got, like your full gifts are online. And I think that's just fully on the path. By the end of the year, you are fully on your path and you understand it, you know it, and you don't even question it anymore. This is just the completion of the awakening is what I feel with that. Okay. So I want to pull just a few cards, a few more cards from the council, because I want to ask, what were the lessons that we were learning in 2025 that we're taking with us? And we have Sedna, power born from pain. Angel number 808, root chakra, deep teal, the council speaks. And so 2025, the lessons were to rise from the pain, not let the pain destroy you, let it create you, let it create something completely new. And so the story of Sedna, she was betrayed by every man in her life, starting with her father. And she ran away to be with, it was not a man, but it was like a bird man. Um, and then she realized that he was dangerous to her too. And her father came to save her and to take her off of this island. But yet the monster, the Birdman, followed. And the father, instead of being brave and courageous, he threw Sedna overboard. And she's sitting here holding onto the edge of the boat, begging him, no, please save me, save me. And he cuts her fingers off so that she'll fall into the ocean. And that could have been the end of her. That could have been just like the complete like destruction of her, because that was the intention. But instead it became her goddess energy. It became her goddess power, and that is where she rose. And so like where her fingers fell into the ocean, those became the full sea life in the ocean. So it's like her pain created this beautiful life that had never existed before. That's the same thing that you've been doing. That's what 2025 was doing to us. The pain was not meant to destroy us. It was meant to show us what we were really made of. It was meant to get us into that goddess warrior energy. And it's like we're not victims. We are not victims. We are the ones that are in control of our lives now. What is the lesson that we will be learning for 2026? We have Archangel Jeremiel, review, release, realign. Angel number 909, third eye, violet, the council speaks. And so with Jeremiel, we're going to be really inspecting our life. And so like the 909 is the old and the new. So the old timeline and the new. So the old is over and the new is ready. And so like with the review, release, realign, that's where we're kind of seeing, like, I think it's coming back to this 10 of wands, what works, what doesn't, what is from the old and what is, holding us back from the new. And so it's like a complete inspection of everything. Is it in alignment? Alignment is going to be just so important. And so everything is going to go through this review process. And anything that's not in alignment with the new timeline does not get to come with us. And so I don't think that you'll even need to make that decision. I think it's just going to be like, it's just the vibration itself. It won't stick. It's not able to stick. All right. So what was the blessings that we got from 2025? We have soulmate. Really? A bond of peace and purpose. 444 heart chakra, green, sacred contracts. And so this could be a literal person that came into your life in 2025 that you never knew before, but now then like there's something significant that I was meant to have with this person, a significant partnership. But I also get that we were really looking at all of our soulmate contracts and really understanding that there are different types of soulmates. There are different types of patterns. There are different types of connections and different purposes for the connections. And so just because someone feels familiar from the day you meet them, and just because you do have an actual soul contract with them, doesn't mean it's a lifetime soul contract. It doesn't mean that it's meant to end in like a harmonious union. When we think about soulmates, it's usually related to love, but that's not what soulmate in itself. Soulmate just means you had purpose here in this lifetime. Your souls knew each other before. Your souls made an agreement with each other in this lifetime. Your souls needed your souls had the contract. But in order to know what to do with the contract, you have to understand the different types of soulmates. And so I feel like 2025, the blessing was understanding the different types of soulmates. And so once you're able to identify and label it correctly, you interact with it correctly. But I do feel like that 2025 brought in, for many of us, a very significant um, life partner energy. This feels very life partner energy. And so we talk about twin flames a lot. We talk about karmics a lot. Life partners are the ones that actually complement the life that you're creating. They're not there to trigger you. They're not there to you don't have to keep learning lessons. Yes, they're like any relationship that you have, you're going to have conflict that needs to be resolved, but it's not going to be the intense, and it's not the trauma. It's not a trauma bond. It's not a trauma pattern. It's not a trauma cycle. This is someone who's actually meant to build with you, who has the ability. They're in alignment to your frequency, and they actually want to be there. They actually want to be there. So, like, it's a whole different type of just realization what type of soulmates you actually had, and which one was actually in the real alignment with you. So, what is the blessing that we can expect for 2026? We have heart portal. Let your heart be the gate. 333, heart chakra, rose quartz, embodied light. And so this is just moving in a completely different way than most of us have ever moved before. So the 333 is spiritual mastery, and it's coming from the heart. And we really think about Jesus's words here about the greatest commandment is love. Love others as you have loved yourself, but you got to love yourself first. And so it's like everything pours from this mastery of the heart. And so we understand that love has boundaries. We understand that love doesn't mean that you never get angry, because even Jesus got angry when he flipped the tables in the temple, when the temple was desecrated. Love moves to protect what is sacred. And it's like you've reached this understanding of love doesn't just, it's not a doormat. It doesn't just endure all the things that, like, it holds all the things accountable, so that everyone can stay in alignment, so that everyone can stay in peace, so that everything flows. And that's the spiritual mastery. It's not a judgment. It is a demand that things must be in alignment in order to flow smoothly together. So the blessing is the way that you show up with your heart. It's the heart. And I talked a lot in 2025 about the upper heart chakra opening. And so the way the upper heart chakra opens, and that's where you get the spiritual mastery of the heart from. And that's the Christ consciousness part of you, the, ability to love them even when they don't know what they are doing. And love in a real sense, not in the romantic sense, not in an enabling sense. So the way to get to the upper heart chakra opening is usually through the deepest pain, the deepest trauma, the deepest betrayal that broke your heart wide open, and you still held love through it. That was a lot of the energy for many of us in 2025. And that is what got us to our mastery level now, where we can hold our own. We do not collapse anymore, because we understand we are the love that we are carrying with us. It's not something that we get from anyone outside of us. It's something that we bring into every situation that we are in. So it's just the mastery of love, of divine love, of that Christ consciousness love. Okay. So I'm going to close it out there, because that's a lot of information about what's coming in 2026. I'm just going to kind of look at the energy a little bit and see any kind of wrap up that we need to talk about. But in the different parts of our lives, I definitely see movement. It's definitely expanding on the energy from last year. We're going to redefine what family and home really means to us. We're going to experiment with our careers, with our work. We're going to see what works. We're going to see what feels good, and before we make choices. With our spiritual path, it's going to flow from our heart, the overflow of our heart. We're going to fill in and do our actual part that we're being called to right now. And in general, there are words. The throat chakra is going to be wide open. You're not going to hold yourself back in. You're not going to bottle things up anymore. You're going to say it when you need to say it, and you're going to make the decisions that you need to make as they need to be made. And so, quarter one, we are looking at the divine feminine is going to stop trying to hold both sides of the connection. She's going to do her role. She's going to let the masculine do his role, because when she stays focused on her part, that gives the masculine the space to rise. For Q2, the shift is coming and Stella's getting her groove back, and we're going to see what we're really made of. We're going to shine. We're going to feel like we can fully shine again. The Q3, we're going to bring that fairy magic energy back in, and it's just going to bring in, just this joy of life again. It's going to bring us to the right people. It's going to attract the right people around us. Q4, we're going to close it out in psychic mastery. We're going to be fully on our path, and just nothing can sway us at that point. So, I mean, it is a bold year. It is a new year. It is expanding on what we've already done. But I mean, I think that it's continuing to get you to that, what your true destiny path really looks like for you, so that you can be in full flow and you're not like trying to get somewhere because you're already where you want to be. All right. So, if everything in this reading has been activating to you and speaking to you, then I'm opening up a small Destiny Path Alignment mentorship in January. It's a 3-month intimate experience, and I will show you exactly how I rebuilt my identity, my purpose, and my nervous system to get fully onto my spiritual path, which is like it's not your spiritual path is not even just about, your spiritual part. It's about you. It's about living in full embodiment. And so more information about that will be down in the description box below. I would love to have you join me for this and join me in this new timeline, in this new Destiny Path timeline. It is not being withheld from you. You just need to understand the steps that you need to go through, that you have probably worked through a lot already, but what you might be missing. And it's usually found in the core identity and beliefs that you're holding. And that's the things that we're going to be shifting in that mentorship. Um, because I mean, it's like once you get that piece, everything falls into place. Not just your career, not just your love, just your whole life shift. It will be radiating in the frequency that you actually are. And you're going to feel the most at home and alive in your life than you have ever felt before. So if that sounds like something you want, definitely check it out. And I will share more information about that in the coming weeks. I hope you guys have had an amazing holiday season. However you celebrate, I hope that you're doing well. I hope you're integrating and you're being kind to yourself for all of the work that you've already done. And I do want to say that in 2026, I do plan to come back more regularly and have, just regular alignment check-ins. And I'm going to be opening up, just some new things. And then, of course, Hope and I will continue to do the Embodied Flame Temple, which is really focused for divine feminines who want to be in their full embodiment. So lots is coming. I do want to get back to interviews again. I've got several people already in mind that I want to bring before the collective here. And I mean, I'm looking at 2026 very excited. 2025 I'm excited to see it go, to be honest. But it was it was a year of endings, and it was difficult karmic untanglings. And I think that now then we've gotten ourselves out of the karmic entanglement enough that we can actually start building and really anchoring that new timeline. We're already in the new timeline, but it's like we don't know what to do with it yet. And this is the part where we start learning what to do with it. All right. So hopefully this has brought you some excitement for the year to come as well. And if you would like a private session, I can do a Destiny Path reading for you personally. We can look at your whole 2026. That's something I absolutely love doing. And we can even just focus it if you just want to look at one part of your life, we can go deeper in that. But you can find information about how to book with me down in the description box below. Check out my website, theawakenedjen.com, for other ways of working with me. And so other than that, I just hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for spending this time with me, and I will see you next time. Bye.